All right, family. How you doing? How you doing? Listen, I'm not, girl, I sound like Tierra for about 2 seconds. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm not trying to step on you, but you coming up all up in here with me. I feel you. I feel you. That's all. I'm so sorry, but yeah, that's Tierra. I heard her coming through me loud and clear because she sure came out up in here. Anybody who knows Tierra know who I'm talking about. Anywho, it says, God just said to me to tell the body this. Make you understand a few things, that's, it seems that we are missing. And it's that you cannot give your energy away. You have to conserve your energy for you, okay? Like, because you're going to need your energy to be able to activate. Like, this is serious. It's like, I know that people probably can't receive it fully that, hey, I'm going to end up with power out of this. But you are really going to end up with activated God body power. It's happening. I mean, there's people all over the world that's experiencing it already. Spirit done stepped in. You know what I mean? Starting to guide you more. You can hear the spirit in you. You can feel it. Your body feels like it becomes magnetized. It becomes very heavy. It becomes very light. You're like, what in the world is going on? Listen, I have come to accept the fact that I ain't had not one stroke. I just had the spirit come over me, and I did not know what to do until I learned to surrender to it. So you can't share your energy with people who are outside the covenant. Now, if you're dealing with people who are within, that they chosen, and they can feed energy back to you the way you give energy away, well, you can go back and forth with one another all day because you're just empowering one another. The Spirit of God is greater amongst those who are gathered in His name. We said, well, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst. And so when we got intact families coming together, the Spirit of the Most High is so strong in that family because they are on one accord. They come together knowing that the power of the Most High is amongst them, and because they're consciously aware of the position that they're in, they're able to use the power of God because the Spirit is amongst them. Now, when the word is talking about the 2 or 3 gathered in His name, it's not just any 2 or 3 people. This is talking about positions. So that the 2, the mother and the father, they come together. That's the 2, and then 3 be the child. Another example of that would be like the elders, the leaders, and then the followers. You got the Most High, Yahuwah, and then yourself, and then you got the father, the mother, and the child. We are constantly, finding ourselves in position with different people, different energies. And when we come together, well, if we come together consciously, then we can activate the power that is available to us, whether it be on a stationary level, on an energetic level, but it's all happening at the same time. There's no place where all of this isn't happening. And when it is happening in its order and in its operation, the way that we were designed to be, well, then we activate the God power within us and we get to utilize it. He says at the very beginning, I've made you in my image and after my likeness, I've given you dominion and power. What has God given us dominion and power for? Well, to tread over our enemies, to be in this moment, understanding that, listen, you was born for this. You was like New Breed song said, you was bred for this, baby. You was born and bred for it. You are fortified to do by way of the Most High. But if you are trying to do it out of your own knowing, out of your own sense of being, well, you start to limit what you're able to do. But when you fully embrace the Most High, and you can be by yourself. You notice I said that it could just simply be the Most High, Yahuwah, and you, and in that relationship, you have the power to operate. So 2 or 3, it could be you in a room by yourself and you still have access to the same thing because it's always happening. There's no point that this system of God's, for lack of a better word, that we are in, because that's what we have, different systems in our bodies. You understand? We're operating within the systems of the body. And every system has its order in which it operates. And when you are functioning in the order of operation, well, then you are going to get the results of that order. But when you go against order, it's just like even when you're dealing with, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you have to do the math within the order of, that operation, or you don't get the result. Because if I try to, do the thing that's not in parentheses first, well, I'm not going to get the answer that they're looking for because I'm outside of the operation. It is the same thing in the body of God. Every part of the body functions as it does. And when you operate in the order, then you get the result. So if you want healing, how do you heal? Well, you have to begin to operate in your natural order. And when you are in order with you, well, then you will have health. You will have, mental fortitude. You will have the stamina to endure through whatever life is presenting you. For us as a body, we have to come into this awareness. We have to bring this thing down from the spirit into our everyday lives. And so that's what it means, as above, so below. It is the spiritual things. You have to make those things practical. It is the application of the word. In the book of James, it says, will you be doers of these words? It's like, yes, grace is the unmerited favor that we have, but it is activated by the walk of our faith. And so faith without the works is dead. If your faith is not actively working, if you need sight, if you got to see it to know that it is, well, then you're not operating in the order of the Most High. You following, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and you're going to get the results limited to what the world can offer. So God says be in the world and not of the world, because if you are going to make the world's order paramount, well, then you are subject to all of the limits of the world. But if you are operating in the unlimited source of it all, the Most High God, and you are following after his order, well, then you get all of the abundance that was guaranteed at the beginning for you. It is just, are you operating in your dominion and your power? And so God said, I did not give you a spirit of fear, but of love and power. And power is activated by way of love, because love is the unction of God. And so when you have the spirit in the midst of your life, well, now you are operating in power. You are one of those who know, and those that know God. It says those that know their God can be strong and do phenomenal things. But if you are operating in the world's order of operation, you may not be yielding the results you want to see, and or you have to do things to be able to reap it. So you notice, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you got to do what's in the parentheses first. And so if we we can look at the music industry, entertainment, where it's like, okay, to become the megastar, you got to do what's in the parentheses first. And so we're watching men become effeminate. We're seeing people step outside themselves inside of an industry where you got Meek Mills hopping around like a bunny rabbit on the tennis court, being made a fool of. But then, like the brother New Breed said, I'm going to give credit where credit is due, is because these are not my words, and so I won't take them. But like the brother said, this is a man who don't have no regard for black life, because if we was down there in Philly, what would I be doing? Oh, I would destroy them, but I understand my limits because I have followed after Aunt Sally. At the end of the day, you better not follow after your dear Aunt Sally. You need to be following after the dear Most High God, because that is where your salvation lies. The Savior has already saved you. It's up to you to change it. And if you're going to keep on being what the world say you're going to be, well, you're going to keep on getting what the world say you got to get. But if you step outside of this order and you go and get in a line. See, when it comes to the Most High, we don't come with order, we come in order. And once we get in order, then we get orders. And after we got our orders, then we do what we ordered. You see, God has a natural way to do this thing. It's not, I come to you the way I am, and you just, no, you come the way you are. Absolutely. You come in the order in which you came. And once you arrive, you realize that, oh, I just got to stand still in the shadow of God, because now I'm in a domain where I don't know a god daggone thing. I am now walking by my faith, because I am now trusting the Most High to do his work on me. You realize that when you come into the order, you're on a potter's wheel. And God begins to shape and mold you. Now, you look like you was made up and ready to go. And then he say, hold up, wait a minute. I see a snare, I see a crack. And what God gonna do is he gonna take that clay, put it right in the press. No matter how good you looked and how close you thought you was. If you have not enveloped yourself in the order of the Most High God, well, he's gonna put you in the press because more dross got to come off. Because I need this to be refined. I need this to be pure. I need to work these cracks out. And so you get in the press and more impurities have to come on out. But the press is when you should be celebrating life. Once you find yourself in the press, you know, oh, God is working on me now. Because life ain't going to be able to really press you. Life can delay you, but life can't deny you. God daggone thing. When God put you in the press, it's because he saw something in you that needed to still come out. So it means that you need to come further out from amongst them. It means that you still got one foot in, one foot out, and you're trying to temper it. It's like, no, come out from amongst them. And then he goes on to say that this nation unknown is going to have to gather itself unto itself. So all of the things that you've attached yourself to in this world, you're going to have to let it go. Because the things of the world, they hate the Most High God. It will not align. You can't. They say you can't serve two masters. You're not going to be able to have one foot in and one foot out. Nah. You got to make up your mind. You got to choose ye this day. You got to repent to the Lord for what you've done, okay? This is where we are. This is our reality. And if you don't get on board with what is actually happening, well, you won't endure through what is happening. You will start to take personally everything that is going on around you, and you are going to sink. See, Jesus walked on water because he walked over the emotion. He walked over the feeling. That's what the water represents. It represents the emotion. And so when people hear me say, well, listen, baby, I don't just walk on water, I walk underwater. Listen, I can breathe underneath the water. The emotions are not going to consume me. I stand over it, I stand under it, I stand in it, and I walk through it because my job is not to get caught up in it. My job is to endure through it. And when you realize that you are going through a sea of emotions that don't belong to you, oh dear empaths, it's time to let go and let God do exactly what God is going to do. The battle is not yours. So why would you fight it when all you got to do is stand still in the shadow of the Almighty? It is the safest place for you to be. There is nothing to do but stand and allow God to be. So many of us want to care, but the book says, cast all your cares unto me, for I care for you. See, caring is not part of our job description. We got to let God be God and us be us. And so when you know where you are in this structure, in this system, in this body, then you will learn how you operate. And if you part of the chosen few, well, you stand still and you let God go before you. You don't worry about God. Listen, he said it himself. I did not come to make peace, but I came to bring a sword, a mighty sword. But it also says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. See, it is you understanding your place in God. People get offended because I say that I'm a God body and that I know that I'm not all of God, but all of God is me. But I'm not confused about who I am either. See, I know that I'm not the one wielding the sword, so I'm the one here making peace. If you know who you are in the Most High God, well, that's who you going to be. But if you subject to what somebody else outside tell you, well, then you're going to be tossed by the winds of the sea. But see, I'm like an unafraid Peter. I can walk out on the water and there is no fear in me. There is nothing in this world that I believe has the power to sink me. I stand in the shadow of the Almighty. And if God is for me, what could be against me? You have to really understand what is happening here, friends. If you are not in this level of relationship with the Most High, well, then you are going to sink in the end. Well, no, I'm going to say you're going to fry, my friend, because he said it won't be water. It's going to be fire next time. But those who are chosen, he said, you will come nigh unto the fire, but the fire ain't going to touch you. See, you're going to be able to get through whatever life is throwing at you because you are not taking life personally, you see. You just moving under the unction of the Most High, doing what it is you've been called to do. You are not trying to battle or compete with anybody because you understand there is no competition for you. Do you understand that? He says, if you'll be in me, I will be in you. Well, I am in the Most High God. Yes, I am. And the Most High God is in me. What you think you're going to be able to do to the powers that be? You won't be able to do a God strong thing to me. And anybody who is in this position in the body, see, when I say me, I need you to understand, I'm not talking about me individually. I'm talking about the collective that is me. Those who identify with this level of spirituality. Those who are this deep in relationship that they don't question anything. I don't need to see what's happening. Man, God is going, the Most High God going before me. I could not lose if I tried, you see. So I am ever grateful and gratitude, thankfulness, forgiveness. It goes before me. And I don't worry about a thing. I need you to understand, body. God is speaking. And he's speaking through a tongue tie, you see, because the devil don't want me to say here's here. He don't want it to get out, so he'll try to take the words right out your mouth. But the Most High is speaking through a chosen few. If you have the spirit of discernment, and it is on you, you will have the ears to hear. Don't worry if your eyes can't see, but let your faith do what your faith do. Sight is not required for those who are chosen and walking through. You don't look from the outside because it is inside that is lighting you. And your light inside, it is what shines through. And that's why those around you, they cannot stand you because they cannot comprehend the light that you bring. It's like, what the hell is this crazy thing? But you are standing in a unique position, my friends. You are being used by the Most High God. And you're disturbing his enemies. Pay attention to those frenemies. When you start to speak, they can only handle a few minutes of that thing. But all you got to do is resist the devil. And guess what he going to do? His ass gon' flee. It is time for us to wake up to the reality of what is happening. Understand that there's a mashup between the natural and the spiritual life that we are living. But understand that as long as you are in God, you are here for life. And so you make sure that no matter what you do, you are living. Because if you give your life away, you got to remember it is you who is doing the giving. So to master giving, what you must do is you must give to the least amongst you. Be able to receive, because being able to receive, it is the evidence that you believe. And from there, you can masterfully manifest anything. You can speak out your mouth, and the words you speak, they are the words that are going to be. See, you are operating then in the power of the Almighty. If people cannot tell you how, and they are only telling you what you listening to them for? If you don't know how to do what you need to do, you better talk to those coaches that's trying to coach you through. See, that's what I'm here to do. I coach you through the dark, baby. I make sure you get through. I make sure that no matter how low you went, well, I'm not the judge of you. All I'm going to do is lend you a hand. And if you cannot receive my hand, well, then you just showed who was you. I'm simply here to do the job that the Most High God sent me here to do. I am praying for the body. Yes, I am praying for you, those few who have chosen to come along. But anybody who has made up their mind that it is going to be turned over to the reprobate, I don't pray for them, my friend. The book say, well, don't you pray for them because I ain't going to hear a thing. So I'm going to let them go ahead and do what God say they're going to do and fry in the end. They have nothing to do with me, you see, and I'm not going to concern myself with those things outside the body. Because then I become a free radical, bringing cancer inside, you see, putting my eyes on something outside of me. No, it is every chosen one's responsibility to keep your eyes fixed on me exclusively, because that is how you maintain your perfect peace. Nobody in this world can take it away unless you give it, okay? I hope that you guys receive what it is that I have to say. I hope these words touch you and that you become blessed today. I hope you can understand the order of operations that I have presented to you, okay? And if you need some coaching services, hit me up in my email and I'll let you know everything. It's up to you what you're going to do next. You choose ye this day. Whose side you leaning on? The world's or the Most High?